Okay, now we'll go to the next one, principle of operation. So we'll see how a transformer will look like. We'll see the construction of transformer and we'll see how the transformer is operating. So first, for a transformer, you need to have a structure called core. See, this 3D structure is going to be called as a core. And this core is going to be made of a ferromagnetic material, mostly iron or devices which will have magnetic properties. Okay, so you have to first form a core. And in the core, you see the vertical portion. Vertical portion is called as limb. Vertical means this two. Okay, so I'll remove it just a second. This vertical portion is called as limb. So here in this core, I have two limbs, and the horizontal portion is called as yoke. Okay, so this is going to be limb, and this is going to be your yoke. Just for a notation purpose. So the vertical portion of a core is going to be called as a limb, and the horizontal portion is going to be called as your yoke. And this core is going to be made up of ferromagnetic material. Ferromagnetic material means as and when you pass current through it, it has to produce flux. It has to produce magnetic field. So magnetic field, you quantify that by flux. Okay, so that is the purpose of having a ferromagnetic core. And here you can see there are two limbs. So in one side of the limb, I'll be giving the input. In the other side of the limb, I'll be connecting my output or I'll be connecting my load. You see, one side I'll be giving my source, one side I'll be having my load. Okay, whenever you connect the source, that terminal is called as primary of your transformer. Whenever you connect your load, that portion is called as secondary. So this terminology is always remember, don't forget it. So whenever you have a source, the source end of a transformer is called as primary, the load end of transformer is called as secondary. And V1 is your source voltage and I1 is the source current or primary current, I can say. And I2 is the secondary current and E2 is the secondary voltage appearing across the load. And source and primary and secondary, it is going to be wound around the limbs and they can have number of turns. It is the number of turns are going to be N1 and N2. Okay, N1 is the number of turns in primary and N2 is the number of turns in secondary. So this is going to constitute a transformer. So a transformer is going to be having a core, and on in the core you will have two limbs. On either side of the limbs, you will be connecting your primary and secondary. So primary portion will have your alternating voltage source. Secondary side will have your load. So power is transferred from source to your load through this core. Actually, the primary and secondary are not connected directly, but still the power supplied from V1 will travel through the core and will reach your load by the process of induction. So we will be studying about that. So this is the construction of your transformer. Okay, so number of turns in primary is going to be N1. The number of turns in secondary is going to be N2. See, all the suffix 1 will indicate your primary, the suffix 2 will indicate your secondary. So every time I cannot draw this big circuit again and again, right? So this is going to be my circuit symbol of my transformer. So you see, you have E1, N1, I1. That is primary, E2, N2, I2, secondary. And primary will have N1 number of turns, secondary will have N2 number of turns, and this is going to be your core. This is going to be your core. And in the core, you will draw two parallel lines between the primary and secondary winding to indicate the effect of induction. Mutual induction, they are coupled. So the two parallel lines indicate the primary and secondary are coupled. Remember, the primary secondary are not connected directly, they are electrically isolated, but they are coupled because of the magnetic flux phi. So I have written phi here. You see, this phi is going to couple your primary and secondary of your transformer. The circuit may look like both are together, both are connected, but no. Remember, primary is on one side of your limb, secondary is on another side of your limb, and they are not connected electrically, but they are connected by magnetic flux phi. Okay, so that is what is given here. See, the vertical portion is called as limb, the horizontal portion is called as yoke. Primary is represented by capital P, it will have N1 turns. Secondary denoted by capital S will have N2 terms. See here, very, very important point. Primary and secondary are electrically unconnected, but they are linked through magnetic flux. Okay, so primary is always connected to the source and secondary is always connected to the load. Very, very important things you should understand in a transformer. Even if you reverse it, it is going to work. But always remember, even if you reverse it, then the secondary will become your primary, the primary will become your secondary. Your transformer will still work. But our notation is wherever side your voltage is connected input, that is going to be a primary. Wherever you have the load connected, it's going to be your secondary. Okay, that is going to be our notation. And the equivalent diagram, you will draw two parallel lines to indicate the coupling because of magnetic flux. And always primary current will flow towards your winding, secondary current will flow away from your winding. Please understand the direction of current. And E1 is your input, and E2 is going to be your output. Any doubts so far? The equivalent circuit on construction of transformer? See, again, these are completely theory portions. So unless you don't understand and unless you don't get it clarified, you will never understand this transformer concepts easily. So any doubt, please ask immediately. Any doubt so far? Construction of transformer? And I told you in the beginning, transformer is an alternating current or alternating voltage device, and transformer will not work for DC, right? Can anybody say why transformer will not work for DC? Now, having known the construction of
So,
transformer, yes,
so in AC voltage, there's a change in polarity. That's when magnetic flux is created. So,
okay. Okay, why in what happens in DC?
DC,
Sir, DC frequency zero, sir.
Okay, frequency zero. Then what is the impact of frequency being zero in your circuit?
Magnetic flux does not be created and the current
Influx.
flows into the
See,
DC.
whenever current
Sir,
flows,
whenever there is changing in current, only no magnetic flux comes, no, sir. So,
no, not necessary. When a current flows through a wire, you have magnetic field created. So when current is going to flow, automatically magnetic flux will be there. So even with whether it is independent of AC or DC, you will definitely have magnetic flux. But what is my question is, for DC, this transformer will not work, and for AC it works. What is the reason?
So for AC, there is a change in polarity. So there's change in magnetic flux. Because there's change in magnetic flux, there's induction and current flows in the second coil. This doesn't happen in case of DC because there's no change in magnetic flux.
See, when you supply a DC current, DC voltage to your transformer, the primary side, your current is going to flow. Because of current, you will have magnetic flux. That magnetic flux is going to be linked to a secondary. In secondary also, you will be having current, right? Only thing, there is no change in polarity. But a constant current is flowing through your primary and magnetic field is going to be set up, right? That is going to happen. So that is going to be a constant current should flow in the secondary, right? If you are going to give a DC voltage means, but that will not happen. Why? Whatever you say for AC is perfect, and I understand that, and I agree with whatever you say. There is a change in polarity, and you have an alternating flux created that is going to couple to your secondary. That is all fine. But one point, if you note, in the equivalent circuit, you see I have drawn windings. So this represent what component?
Inductor, sir.
inductor.
Induction.
Inductor. What is the reactance of inductor XL equal to?
L into omega, sir.
XL equal
L
to
omega,
J.
sir.
L omega, sir.
Yes, omega L. XL equal to omega L. And somebody rightly pointed out in DC the frequency is zero. So what will happen to omega in case of DC?
Zero, sir.
Zero.
So when omega is zero, what will happen to XL?
zero,
Zero.
zero,
So
zero.
what is XL equal to zero meaning? What is XL equal to zero depict to you?
Current becomes infinite.
Short
Or
circuit.
yes,
Short
short.
circuit.
Yes, this winding will act like a short circuit. Because of short circuit, very heavy current will flow through your primary, thereby damaging your primary. So before even the induction is going to happen, your primary coil is become unavailable. It will become disintegrated. So that is the reason you will not expose the transformer B1 by mistake to DC. So if you expose the transformer to DC voltage, induction will take place theoretically, but before induction takes place, the primary coil itself will not be there. It will be completely burnt because of short circuit. So that is the reason you will never even think of operating transformer in a DC. It is illogical to operate transformer in a DC. Induction will take place later. When the current flows through the primary, the magnetic field will be created and induction will take place. But when the current flows through the primary winding itself, the winding becomes burnt because of very high flow of current because of short circuit. That is the reason why you won't operate transformer on a DC voltage or DC current. Okay, and the winding is also, see, the winding reactance XL. See, ideally we told XL to be 0, but winding reactance will be very, very small, like it will be 0.1 or 0.2, which is almost close to 0, right? So that will make this path a short circuit path. That will make this path a short circuit path. So very heavy amount of current will flow through this path. Okay, that is the reason you have to